Hello students, welcome to the biology class. Today we are going to continue with our chapter Respiration in Plant. In our earlier sessions we discussed about the glycolysis, the common pathway of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Then we discussed about the aerobic mechanism, that is your Krebs cycle electron transport system, in which the various formation of the electrons takes place. And today we are going to start with an amphibolic pathway. What is amphibolic pathway? Respiratory pathway known as amphibolic pathway. Why? Since the respiration, we know that it involves the breakdown of organic compounds, that is your glucose, that is your fat and protein. It has been considered as catabolic process, and the respiratory pathway as a catabolic pathway in which the breakdown of the organic substances takes place, but different substances enter the pathway as a respiratory substrate, that may be fat, that may be protein or glucose, and certain intermediates of respiratory pathway are also withdrawn, means they are also being utilized for the synthesis of another compounds. For example, fatty acid would be broken down into acetyl CoA for entering the pathway, that is the connecting link or the linking reaction for the Krebs cycle. But acetyl CoA from the respiratory pathway will be taken or utilized for the synthesis of fatty acid. So here it is a breakdown and here that is a synthesis. Similarly, the respiratory pathway intermediates are involved in the synthesis of proteins. So breaking process in the living organism is known as your catabolism, whereas the synthesis process is known as anabolism. So the respiratory pathway is involved both in the anabolism, means the synthesis of fat, synthesis of proteins, and catabolism, that is the breakdown of the organic compounds. So better it is considered as the amphibolic pathway, which can perform, which is involved both in the breaking as well as the synthesis. Rather, we can simply say that it is a catabolic pathway. So here you can see the various substrate, that is your fats, carbohydrates, proteins, which are being broken down into fatty acid and glycerol, and the carbohydrates, that is glucose, into glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-phosphate, then amino acid. Amino acid is directly broken down into pyruvic acid, which forms the acetyl CO, enters into the Krebs cycle, and this is glyceraldehyde to dihydroxyacetone. So here you can see that is the breakdown of the organic substances takes place, but this acetyl CO is being utilized if we want to synthesize the fatty acids, and similarly the pyruvic acid is being utilized for the formation or the synthesis of protein. So this cycle shows the both, that is the breakdown as well as the synthesis of a fats as well as the proteins. So this is known as your amphibolic pathway. So after completing our complete steps of the aerobic and anaerobic respiration, so here we are having a respiratory balance sheet of aerobic respiration, that how much energy we have gained. In glycolysis, we can see that is we are having only 2 ATPs that is being directly being given to us. Only 2 ATPs are there and 2 NADH. So 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6 ATP, as we have discussed in our electron transport system. Then the pyruvate oxidation means the gateway step or the linking step, in which again 2 NADH are being formed. So 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to the 6 ATP. The citric acid, the direct source of the ATP, that is GDP to GTP, is 2, and we are having a 3 sites where NADH is being reduced. So 6 multiplied by 3 is 18 ATPs, and there is one site where the FADH is reduced to FADH2. So 2 multiplied by 2 is your 4 ATPs. Total is 38 ATPs are being synthesized, but in eukaryotic cells, only 2 molecules of ATPs are spent for transporting the 2 molecules of NADH formed during the glycolysis in the cytoplasm to the mitochondria. So if 2 molecules are being spent, the net gain is only 36 molecules of ATP. Whereas in anaerobic respiration, there is a gain of only 2 ATPs because NADH is being again oxidized to NAD. So we are left out only with 2 ATPs, whereas in eukaryotic cells, we are having a 36 molecule. We gain 38, but 2 we have spent for transporting the 2 molecules of NADH from the glycolysis that is in the cytoplasm to the mitochondria to carry out the further reactions like that of your Krebs cycle and electron transport system. Next is the very important and the last question is, what are the advantages of stepwise energy release in respiration? So the various advantages are, number one, it facilitates the utilization of relatively higher proportion of that energy in ATP synthesis. Activity of enzymes of different steps may be enhanced or inhibited by the specific compounds, and this provides a means of controlling the rate of pathway and release of energy according to the demand of the cell. So this is very important that activities of enzymes of different steps may be enhanced or inhibited by the specific compound that is called as a feedback mechanism, and this provide a means of controlling the rate of pathway and the release of energy according to the demand of the cells. So how much they require, so this all depends upon the feedback mechanism of feedback inhibition. The same pathway may be utilized for forming the intermediates used in the synthesis of other biomolecules. So that's why the respiratory pathway is known as amphibolic pathway, because it is not only the pathway in which the breakdown of the glucose in the presence of oxygen converted into CO2, H2O and energy, whereas in the same pathway the various intermediates are being utilized for the synthesis of other biomolecules like fats and proteins. So with this we finish this chapter, that is respiration in the plant. This is very important chapter of your plant physiology, in which we are having our 3-4 cycles or the systematic representations. So do practice of the step by step of the glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport system, as well as fermentation, and copy all the cycles and the systematic presentations in your fair notebook. Consult your NCERT for the same. Till then, stay home, stay happy. Thank you and have a nice day.